bone here. Yes, so look. Here on Friday, we make this 1% of our reticulocytes are released. Yes? By Saturday, what do those do? What have they done? They're now red blood cells, but guess what? You say, oh, there's no reticulocytes. No, because what have you now done? By Saturday, you released another 1% of reticulocytes. Tell me you see that. Yeah. The reticulocyte is making hemoglobin because it's released before all 210 million hemoglobin have been made. And it takes what? It takes another day. It takes another day for all of that hemoglobin to be made. I saw a couple hands go up. Can I do one thing, and then I'll get whatever questions you have. So how could you use reticulocyte count? What is the reticulocyte count? What is the reticulocyte count in a healthy human being? 1%, because guess what? We are releasing 1% of our new reticulocytes per day. Yes? And now you're going to help me over here. We're going to see on the other side, 1% of the red blood cells are being destroyed. So 1% is getting destroyed. 1% of reticulocytes are going in. And therefore, we keep our hematocrit the same. Look, if this was the problem, okay, here's the magic. If this was the problem, what's this? What am I pointing at here? If making them was the issue, yes, you'd be anemic, and I need someone to help me here. Would you have a high reticulocyte count, or would you have a very low reticulocyte count if there was something wrong in your ability to make them? Low. So a low hematocrit with a low, what's low? What's a low reticulocyte count? Less than 1%. Yes? It tells you what? What type of anemia is that? That's a production anemia. A production anemia in that you're not being able to produce it. Here, now, look at me. And I saw 3 or 4 hands. I'll get all your questions. Look at me here. You have all the information. Give me some production anemia. Okay, let me see. What would happen if you had kidney failure and you couldn't make EPO? Would you still have erythroblasts? Yeah, there's stem cells down inside your red bone marrow. Yes, but what can't you do without EPO? What can't you do? You can't make a reticulocyte. What would your reticulocyte count be? Very low. Let me give you another one. Ready? What would happen if you had metastatic bone cancer? Okay, so many cancers will do what? You know, most cancers don't kill you. The cancer itself, right? Are you with me? It's what? What usually kills you? It's what? The cancer spreading, right? Metastasizing to where? Your lungs, or your brain, or your bone. Yeah, you with me? Okay, prostate cancer in males, that's not what usually kills them, right? What kills the male with prostate, or breast cancer in females, right? It isn't the breast cancer that they usually die of, yes? That cancer does what? Gets into the lymph glands and then what? Metastasizes, yes, to other places, okay? One very common place, one very common place that it will metastasize to is where? Where? The red bone marrow. Yes, are you with me? And so I don't even want to, I don't want to joke about it, right? It's a terrible death for most people with breast cancer or prostate cancer. Painful because it does what? Gets into the bones, right? Vertebra, ribs for breathing, and they have terrible pain for what? Metastatic. Someone shake your head. Metastatic cancer. If I lost some of this now, make my day here, would you have high hematocrit or low hematocrit? Low hematocrit, and what would your retic count be? Would it be high or would it be low? Really low. I could go over other ones, but I'm just trying to give you some examples, right? Those are examples. What were those? Low EPO, metastatic bone cancer, or some of your friends or grandparents have been treated for chemotherapy, radiation treatments for cancers, and unfortunately they'll destroy some of the red bone marrow. Yes, and what will they do? What will they become almost always? Anemic, yes, and so they're then given a drug. Oh, listen to this. Procrit. Procrit. Can you just listen? Aren't they? It's almost comical. You can let's see. Crit. What's crit? Hematocrit. What's pro? I'm guessing must be what? Must promote the formation of red blood cells. And guess what? And I'll get your question, Ms. Book. Procrit is recombinantly produced EPO. So they've done what? They've inserted the gene for EPO into E. coli bacteria. It's a great world, isn't it? They've inserted the gene for making EPO into E. coli bacteria, and they're now producing, yes, are you with me? Recombinant EPO. What is recombinant EPO? Instead of saying recombinant EPO, what is recombinant EPO? Its trade name is called Procrit. Why would you give someone Procrit? When would Procrit be given to someone? When they have what? Production anemias. Production anemias, yes, they could do what? And again, a lot of, because of bone cancers or radiation, chemotherapy treatment. Okay, so I saw lots of questions. Miss, what was your question? Yes. Okay, so that's a tough concept you got to get here. Ready? Where are all the stem cells that we can make red blood cells located? They're located in the red bone marrow along bones. Yes. What stimulates them to be produced? They're produced by a hormone called EPO. Listen, I guess maybe, what is a hormone? We're going to go over hormones. We're going to look at testosterone, estradiol, progesterone. What are hormones? They're all hormones. What are hormones? They're made one place. They have their effect where? Someplace else. Well, where's EPO made? EPO is not made in bone. It's not made in red bone marrow. Where is EPO made? Miss? Kidneys. And therefore, EPO, and what do your kidneys sense? What are the two big stimulators to produce more EPO? Decreased oxygen. So help me. You go to high altitude and live in Kenya. Yes, are you with me? You're running up in Kenya. Do you think you've got more, Miss? Do you think you have more EPO or less EPO if you went up to 10,000 feet and were running over there? What would you guess of it? More. And the more EPO now does what? Stimulates more? Red blood cells. Yes. What else? Look, you donated blood. How much blood did you donate? What did we say? You typically donate 1/10 of your blood. This would be a fair test question. I don't think it'll be there, but just listen. So, if you measure EPO the day after you donated blood, do you think you have high EPO or low EPO? High EPO. Why? Because you donated blood. Your kidney senses what? Less blood volume. And now does what? Produces EPO. Where's the EPO go? To the red bone marrow. What does the EPO do? Listen, doesn't make red blood cells. Ugh. Stimulates erythroblasts to do what? Form into a cell that's called reticulocyte. And maybe that's confusing you. Listen to me. Why is it called a reticulocyte? You don't know this. I haven't told you this yet. Does anyone know what? You know what it is, Miss? The erythroblasts, as they are met, the EPO causes the erythroblasts to start making hemoglobin. Okay? And look, you can see all of the DNA that was needed to do what? Synthesize these proteins. And look, that's why it's called a reticulocyte, because you can stain it and you see all the DNA, listen to me, and that forms a reticulum, which the word reticulum, does anyone know, means what? Kind of like, listen, sarcoplasmic reticulum was what? It's kind of a mesh. Right? So this is what you can see, all of that stuff in there. You don't see it in mature red blood cells, right? So what is that cell right there called? What is that cell right there that hasn't finished making all of the hemoglobin? That's called a reticulocyte. They are released. 1% of the cells are released per day. Therefore, if your hematocrit was 40, and you released 1% of your cells, and you destroyed 1%, what would your hematocrit still be? Still be 40. Yes. Go ahead. No, it's right. No, it's right. It's a reticulocyte in there. It's a released as. So the question was, is it not a reticulocyte? It's a reticulocyte here. It's a reticulocyte here. And 24 hours after it's released, it's a red blood cell. Okay? Because why? It takes 24 hours to finish making all of the 210 million hemoglobin. And so, listen, we can now exploit this knowledge. How can we exploit this knowledge? Because theoretically, you and I, a healthy person, has what? 1% of their cells in their bloodstream. 99% would be mature red blood cells. How long would they last? How long would they last again? About 100 days. But 1% of them would be what? The reticulocyte that just got released. Yes? Now I know you're thinking, you say, oh, tomorrow I should have 2%. Because I now released another 1%. Yes, you did. But the 1% you released on Friday, by Saturday, are red blood cells. Yes, so you with me? So this retic count, right? What do I mean retic count? The count of reticulocytes. So some of you go to a blood lab, and they're sitting there counting. Counting off red blood cells and reticulocytes. How can you see reticulocytes? How can you tell it's a reticulocyte? Anybody got it? You can see the DNA. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The batteries went dead. And if I wasn't prepared, I'd have to cancel class. I'll recycle these. Duracell. No chance of getting out of here early. Zero chance. Working now? Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't take joy in your pain. Okay. 1% by what? By 24 hours later, look, by 24 hours later, these are now red blood cells, and you're releasing 1% more. Therefore, the retic count stays at 1%. Yes, what's your second question? Procrit. Yes, so here, let me give you a good example of procrit again that might help. It bothered, people could not explain this. People with renal failure, okay, so 25 years ago, people in renal failure, within a month or so, they started becoming anemic. And everyone was saying, what in the world is going on here? Why? Are they urinating out the red cells? No, we don't see any of those. Okay, why? Because now, if you can see this, when you have renal failure, what do you have a low amount? Yes? You make low amounts of EPO. Low amounts of EPO. Do you still have erythroblast? Yes, but you now do what? You can't convert them into reticulocytes. How would you treat a person in renal failure? What disease, what drug would be given? Procrit. And Procrit's only been around for about 20 years. Why? Because modern biology has done what? Where was the only place to get EPO 25 years ago? Cadavers. Yes, you with me? Good. Now, are you with me? They've taken what? They take the gene, they put it into E. coli bacteria, and E. coli bacteria are now producing what? EPO. And that's what, if you're with me here, I am going to get your question, miss. That's what Lance Armstrong and Floyd Landis, right, were accused of using, right? Are you with me? What? They didn't say Procrit because they would have gotten sued, but, right, they're doing what? Recombinant DNA of what? Of EPO. What? If you give yourself more EPO, what can you make more of? And what's one way of testing for it? Ooh. And then we're going to get your question. Miss, you were so kind to keep your hand on that. What would be one thing that Lance would have high amounts of in his bloodstream? First of all, would he be anemic? No, that's how much does he take? You think his hematocrit is 85? That'd be dead. Right? So in fact, they do what? They try to take it up to 50%. Okay, so that you have what? You got more red blood cells. What for? What for? More red blood cells carry more oxygen. Yet you don't have the risk of thrombo. Can you just say just say thromboembolism? You don't have thromboembolism. But what would you have? What would be high in someone that's taking EPO? It's the reticulocyte count, right? Because you're now producing more red blood cells, yes, and you have high reticulocyte count. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure I understand this.
Go for it.
So if our blood is made of 40% red blood cells,
That's right.
we only have one reticulocyte a day to make the 210 million hemoglobin of each red blood cell. It's just, how does one reticulocyte a day make that much?
Oh, no. Okay, so there's the question. Sorry, you literally took this. I didn't say one reticulocyte. I guess maybe you're sitting too far up there. I said 1% of the entire blood volume. You've got billions. Yeah, I got you. I didn't go over that, so I'm glad it's a good question. Ready with it? You've got billions of reticulocytes in there.
Okay, that's
Not just
good.
one.
How
But
does it do that?
how does it do what?
How does it make that much if we only have one reticulocyte?
Yeah, right. If you only had one cell, it'd be trouble. But you've got what? Billions of reticulocytes in there. But you've got 100 billion. You got a billion reticulocytes, and you got 100 billion or 99 billion red blood cells. Yes, are you with me? So 1 billion compared to 99 billion gives you what? 1%. 1%. So 1% of the total cells in there are what? Are not red blood cells. I must be doing a poor job because I say 1% of the cellular element. 99% are mature red blood cells. 1% are reticulocytes. Yes. So could they give EPO to someone with sickle cell anemia? No, because you would just make more sickle cells. Right? Are you with me? Sickle cell anemia is not a problem of not having EPO. Sickle cell anemia is a problem of what? The DNA is synthesizing a protein. What protein? The beta protein that is not compatible with making biconcave disc shells. Yes. Oh, if they have renal, yes, they would give them EPO because it's better to have sickled cells than no cells. Right? Are you with me here? No hemoglobin means death. So, yes, they would still do that. Yes, ma'am. Mary. No, they have normal reticulocyte count. Well, when you say low level. If you donate blood, they take what out of you? They take red blood cells? Bone marrow. Okay, so if they aspirate, so if someone had, if your mom